What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the TraderPrad show. I'm TraderPrad. You are the beautiful, wonderful chat who always comes out to support me, which I am very grateful for. It's a wonderful Monday, October 16th. We are almost halfway through the month, I guess. I don't know. Almost through halfway through the month over here. My week started off pretty damn good. I'll be honest. I was killing it off the open, but then sadly later on in the day, I did give half of the money that I already had made back, and then I just had to battle some of that profits back into my account. So I did make some back at the end of the day. Green. That's all that matters. We made money. We ended green. We started off the week on a green note. Hopefully you guys got to do something similar. We're able to make some money for yourselves off some trades. If you did not, don't be worried. We're going to be looking at all possible opportunities for tomorrow later on in the stream after we talk about my trades and so on. My throat's scratchy. The vaping is getting me real quick. Give me a second. Okay, there you go. Now I feel better. Okay. So don't worry if you did take a loss today. We will obviously help you out. Find you some trades, find some possible areas to be involved in, some trades to be looking at that might be key and really give you that great risk reward trades that we like to look for. So stay tuned for that. We'll first start off the stream with my trades, but before we do any of that, make sure you put in the chat how your day went, how your weekend went. What did you do on the weekend? Did you spend time with family? Did you spend time with yourself? Do some what do they call these days? Me break days? I don't know. Me days. Just did your own personal days over there, personal vacation day, whatever it is. Hopefully you guys got to spend, enjoy your weekend and have some fun. But now it's time to get back to work, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start off by looking at everyone who's present. We got Dieter, TH. Oh, we got a lot of people in the chat today. I love it. Dan Duval's in here. Yamaha. We got CDP in here already. Okay, we like it. Red today. I apologize for that, bro, or girl. I don't know your gender, but I will. Hopefully we can find you some trades for us to smack tomorrow. I like where it goes. Got some WBA. Was looking at it yesterday. Ooh, yeah. We have to put WBA on the watch list. It did show up on one of my scanners. Did I forget to put it up on the watch list? I think I did forget to put it up on the watch list. So I'll put it up over here, WBA, and we'll for sure take a look at that one since you're involved in it. More of a reason for me to take a look at it, Dieter. And I like to like seeing the people who are putting green WBD. Oh, sorry, WBA is Walgreens. I forgot. You're right. WBA is Walgreens, right? If I remember accurately. Thank you for correcting me. But hey, let's get started before my throat gets scratchy again. Jesus Christ. And start talking about my trades on the day. So let's dive in. Let me just fix the transition so it doesn't get annoying for you guys. And 1, 2, 3, transition. Bang. Okay. Lululemon was one of my most profitable trades, my best trade of the day, and also the trade that I fumbled the bag on. This is what the thumbnail is based off of today. The whole idea that we fumbled the long. We had such a beautiful entry on the long, but we fumbled the bag. You can call me, I think this is Dak Prescott. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I don't know who number 16 is, but Dallas Cowboys, I think Dak Prescott's the QB. Fumbling the ball, fumbling the bag on this trade over here, especially after, being so patient, being so calculated on my entry, seeing that the stock is actually holding this 405 area, 406 area every time we do pull back, not being able to being involved in the opening drive itself, stayed away from the opening drive, let the stock settle down a little bit and really show me some strength. And it did show up some strength later on around the news VWAP, which was the stock is getting added to the S&P 500 by Wednesday morning. So based on that catalyst, we've seen stocks run up insanely to the north side. I kind of forgot that it was happening so soon, so it made me not really hold the trade too much, and I wasn't really willing to give the stock too much risk. So that's where the fumbling the bag comes from, because we miss out on such a bigger trade over here. It does give you multiple opportunities to get back into the trade, but such an expensive stock, such a high price already on the day, already up so much on the day. I just don't see a spot for me to be involved in, but I miss out on such a big move overall. Pretty hurting on this trade. But here, let's talk about my entries. Wait for the entry, then I see the 410 area, which was getting rejected quite a bit, so I take the 410 breakout. But then since my average is now around 408, I basically take the first move up to 412 and throw my stop out basically near break even. Actually, it's not even near break even. I throw my stop out for about a $2 loser on this position. My average price 410. I'm basically stopping out at 408.50, and on the move down, right at the low of this candle, the stock basically ticks me out and then runs back up to the north side. So that was a little bit upsetting. I could have fought for my entry back in here if I really like the trade. That's fine, but there's so many places to re-enter, so many ways to do better on this stock. It sucks that we fumbled it, but best trade on the day no matter what, and helped us stay green on the day. So shout out to LULU. It was our number one trade for today. We'll look for some opportunities on it tomorrow, because I think it will still be active tomorrow going into the close, as the stock is getting added to the S&P 500 index. So it's a very, very big deal over there coming in for Lululemon. Next stock, we have Apple. Look, Apple had some sort of a weak numbers from the Chinese iPhone numbers. Obviously, they are moving a lot of their plants away from China into India, so that was kind of obvious over there. But was looking for some short opportunities on the stock already down on the day, but the market was so strong. It did give me one little opportunity, scalped it quick, but then I had some ads in the move up over here. I realized, hey, the stock is showing me higher highs, higher lows. I'm not taking a good trade over here. The S&B Capital's CEO, I think CEO or one of the main managers, Mike Bellafiore, he wrote a book called One Good Trade, and this is not a one good trade over here, what I'm doing. So I figured I'll just close the position completely and wait again near a different high once the stock shows me some sort of a level. And once I do see that level come into play, I'm taking the shorts, leaning off that level. That level basically ticks it by the penny near 179 and starts pushing back down. I add. Here's where I do a little bit of a oopsies. I get scared of this position now because I see that the market's so damn strong. Apple's holding above VWAP. I'm seeing buying come in, so I do take my first exit, but I don't hold my other exit properly, which makes me not able to really capitalize on that bigger move to the downside. After fighting for that price, I should have really held the stock. The time was in my favor. The time was really in my favor. I could have had a stop in profit right back through here for the rest of the shares if it did come back up and never really tested VWAP, but there was no reason for me to just punch out of that trade over there. Need to be way better with my exits, especially after fighting for that price. Whatever I lost over here on this trade, I made it back and some on this trade overall, and I could have really made up a lot of that money back and put the stock as probably number one on the day if I really executed the trade properly. So lots to repair, lots to fix, lots to get better on. A constant battle of trying to forget the old trader that I was from the Trader TV Live era and trying to become a new trader, trying to learn the right ways of making money, because anything I did over there on the show was just not the right way of making money. Because now I'm seeing actual traders teach me how to actually trade, and it's drastically different, right? So this stuff over here, once again, I do the same mistake on Delta Airlines. Punching the high over here, fine, but whatever, it makes sense if you think about it, right? Higher low, higher high. But if that stock doesn't really have that follow through to the north side, you should really be getting out instead of buying the dips all the way down VWAP. Thankfully, my share sizes were small. It allowed me to hold it all the way down over here and really wait to see what happens around VWAP. But imagine you took 100% of your size on that breakout. you can't really be adding on the way down. You're breaking your risk management and your rules. Because I didn't take a lot of size, it allowed me to really hold it all the way down here, but that's really stupid if you ask me. I should have stopped out, waited for this turn around VWAP, which gives me a better risk to reward, probably enter right over here on this move up, not down here, because you know that's like you're trying to have a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. Enter on this move up over here with my stop right below VWAP, or right below this candle, and then my risk to reward, my probability of a win, everything just becomes better. This move to the downside, just adding to a loser, never looks good. And that's why on the move up, I don't really trust the stock has a bigger move up to the north side. So I'm having to basically exit right where my previous entries were. I do, however, manage to turn the stock slightly to the positive because of these two exits at the end, which end up being these two entries over here to the downside move, and basically profit on these two entries and lose on these two entries. Ended up being profitable on this trade because of the amount of cents that I lose per share on the first two positions. Overall, horrible trade. I need to be way more patient, just absolutely way more patient if I like the trade. The idea was, you know, Delta Airlines sold off quite a bit off the earnings area. 35 was previously a pretty big level. Now we're trading at 34 showed some buying. So the fact that we were showing some buying above 34, I tried to go long. If I really liked about that trade so much, I should not have really bought it on the way down. Once again, key notes: should not be buying on the way down like that. Just wait for the right turn. And if you do like the breakout, if there is no follow through on the breakout, punch out, take that immediate loss, because that will always save you more money on the long run. This could easily just curl all the way back down, especially if the market was curling back down. So that's the bad trading on Delta over there. Nvidia. Market was ridiculously strong. Nvidia was struggling around, I think, yesterday's VWAP over here around 460. So as we push into 460, you see this little consolidation on the 1 minute candle going right into 460. So that was like, you know, I'm thinking the stock has probably a big move here if the market can really take out the 370 area for QQQ and get above 370. So I'm going to take a quick little long with a tight stop. Stock never really pushes below the stop. Then some buyer shows up at 459.50. Not really on a liquid, sorry, not really on the gateway where you can clearly see it. It was a hidden buyer, just not able to print below 459.50. So that 50 cents ended up being my risk over there on the move down, and the stock ended up pushing up to 461. But right above 461, there was a lot of struggle, and the QQQ was also struggling at 370. So noticing these two factors, I just take my quick little dollar profit, punch out of that position. Ends up being the right decision, as the stock does pull right back to the downside. Nvidia, though, strong on the day. The market was strong on the day. So shout out to Nvidia. We do have this one on the watch list. Nvidia ends up being a nice little scalp, profitable, but later on there was many more opportunities that we could have been in that we weren't, sadly. Manu, another profitable trade on the day, and we actually traded this one muito bueno to start off the day with, but later on in the day we absolutely ruined our trade, gave back a lot of money on this position. This was our second best position on the day, and I think it ended as our third or fourth best position on the day. Most of the stocks that you've seen are just profits. I think we only lost on a couple trades today, and that will be on XPEV and on XOM, which we'll get to shortly. But Manu comes out with some billionaire catalyst that he's investing in this position, and the Saudis obviously pull their bid, so the stock drops down drastically. If you look at it on the longer time frame for Manu, which we will when we're charting this position for tomorrow, the $18 area really stands out on the 1 year time frame, where every single chart is, so on the 1 day time frame, where every single candle is 1 day's worth of information. So based on that, if the stock is showing me any weakness near 18, I want to look for those shorts. So I'm looking for those shorts on the way down. I'm adding, taking some covers, adding on the way back to VWAP, and then taking some covers to the downside. Later on, I do get stopped out as the stock shows me some buying above VWAP and starts managing to push back up. But if I'm seeing buying come in up to, near VWAP, why, and also the stock is triggered SSR, why am I trying to fight the move up over here, as the shorts are probably trying to take covers, right? They're probably trying to take profits, and new longs might be getting built into this position, and that activist investor, probably not an activist investor, but that investor could be looking at this position as a cheaper price for him to soak up more shares in the current moment. So the stock could easily get that rally right back to 18. So why am I trying to fight the short over here? Sadly, I do fight that short a couple times, and I lose. This is where I should have been, willing to come back to the short, the right side of the V. Think about it. Every single time, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and I'm here just fighting the trend. The trend is clearly showing you that the stock is moving to the north side. The EMAs are showing you the stock is moving to the north side. I'm just fighting it like an absolute monkey. But later on, if I really wanted to be in, the right side of the V trade, where Lance Breitstein, I hope I'm saying his name right. Sorry if I'm butchering it. But the right side of the V is right around over here. You look for a possible entry near 1885, 1880, near a stop near 18 or $19, and then you just have that big move right back to the downside. Amazing risk reward. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, and even having to get some size on the way down would have been hard. Technically, the only spot where you could have gotten some shares filled, maybe at 1882 or so, right around that candle. Maybe some for sure some at 1875. You could have got filled at 1875 if you had some orders and you were firmly in line, but most of your size will probably getting filled on this move up over here, 1860 to 1870, with your stop somewhere right around this candle, and you're looking for that move down. So you got to look for, because it's on SSR, so you can't really just punch the stock on the way down. You have to wait for it to move up if you want to get picked up on the short. Didn't really get the chance to get the fills on the short side, so missed out on the move and was fighting on the wrong side of the trend. This gave up a lot of money over here, and then I tried some longs over here. Yeah, I tried some longs later in the day because the stock was showing some support around 1790, but I ignore the higher low, lower high kind of trend. I keep thinking that the support's gonna hold. It doesn't hold, and it gives up, and I do end up getting stopped out. More money lost on that trade. Somehow, surprisingly, still positive on Manu. Still positive on Manu. Charles Schwab, I wasn't really thinking about trading Charles Schwab off the earnings move, but we had the earnings anchored VWAP played out for us, and we were watching the stock bounce off of that level a couple times in the day. Based on that, I try some longs after it shows me a higher low, higher high. Gives me a quick little scalp, but then I get stopped out. That was the end of my trade on Charles Schwab. But if I was watching the stock later on, as we do reclaim VWAP and move back up, there was some longs over there possibly to be re-involved in. Charles Schwab was just amazingly holding that anchored VWAP, which we'll talk about as we're charting this position. Just a quick little scalp trade. Wasn't really looking to do too much with it. But when it comes to XPEB, I was looking to do too much with this position. I was waiting for a quick little pullback to the north side. There was no pullback, and this move to the downside, I didn't want to chase it. But where do I chase it? Around that $15 area, which happens to be a bottom previously on the day, and on the long-term chart frame too. In the long-time chart frame, my brain. The $15 area looks like some sort of a level, which we'll look at it in a bit. But the $15 area coming into play, I thought, hey, if we're going to see any sort of a weakness, it will be on the break of that 15. And I had some big size ready to punch short. Sadly, that trade doesn't really play out the way I wanted to. I get stopped out. I'm fine. But this is where I should have probably thought about, flipping long, because that long off of that low was monstrous. Big move, low risk, high reward, right side of the V again. And you could have gotten that trade over here too. Once quick little scalp, another quick little scalp, right side of the V. Just got to learn to be patient and find these patterns. Like sometimes I'm just jumping the guns, and I'm not really being too patient, and wasting money over there. So got to be patient. Could have flipped long over here, possibly something to keep in mind for future trades. XOM, this is just pure over trading. I try the long, then I flip into a short, then I try to force the short too much, all in while the stock is just trading sideways. Look at the flat line of the VWAP. No life in the position at the moment. Just absolute flat line, and the stock ends 0.09% on the day up, or a little bit around that. So absolute flat line. Too much over trading. Need to basically just stop trading XOM, I think. because it's just hurting every single day I touch it. It's just hurt. I think XOM might end up being my worst trade so far on my account. I just need to stop trading that position, honestly. Okay, let's close this. Let's close some unnecessary tabs that we don't need. That way we don't get bogged down with all the craziness. Okay, tomorrow for earnings, before I do that, let me grab some water. People in the chat talking about they had a green day. Think someone buys them. Green on open, closed on red. Give Mr. Prad a like, says CDP. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We used to sell the double back in the day to reverse like your DAL exit. Sell the double top, or sell the double bottom. Is that what you're saying? How do you see Tesla this week? We have Tesla down over here. Where's Tesla? Why is Tesla not in the big tech, Prad? Huh? Okay, we have Tesla down in the big tech basket, which we'll for sure get to very soon. But first, I want to start off with stocks that have earnings pre-market tomorrow, starting off with Lockheed Martin. Look at this position. I bought it at 434.50. It's at 440.31. And with defense earnings, I mean, with Lockheed Martin earnings coming up, and with the war rampant, and with, you know, all these machinery, I don't want to say any word that might get me flagged on YouTube, but you know, all these machinery and grants that US has been giving Ukraine and probably to Israel too. You know, Lockheed Martin is actually a big contributor to the Iron Dome defense, which is a big thing in the Israel war over there. If you guys know what the Iron Dome is, even though it's made by the Israelis themselves, Lockheed Martin actually helps them quite a bit with parts and other supplies. I'm pretty sure when I did my research on it, I found out that Lockheed Martin was you know, connected to it. And obviously anytime a war happens, defense stocks go up. So I looked at that and I said, hey, Lockheed Martin looks like a good price to get into on that Monday itself while I was on vacation. And now look at the stock, 440. Look at this average volume on this position on the 5 minute. It's going up drastically, but that's not what I'm trying to see. This is what I want to see on the daily chart. Yeah, look, on the, I think that was the Monday that I got some at 435, 434 or so, 434.50. And now we're getting a nice move right back up to 460 or so, especially with earnings coming up tomorrow. Pre-market, there could be some amazing levels and some trades to play off of for us to be interested in. So far, I mean, look at this. This is the VWAP from basically when the news was announced on Lockheed Martin, and the stock has held that news catalyst VWAP ever since. Held it, dipped under it slightly, but then got right back above it and held it again. So this anchored VWAP shows you that whoever bought the position on this day with a lot of size and has been buying continuously, their average price is probably around 434, because they are the ones who actually moved the stock up to the north side in the way that it is. Tomorrow I will be very happy to see the stock in the 460s, because at that point I'll probably just take my profits and exit on this position. Quick little scalp on the move up over here on the gap, probably gap close up. And also I'll be putting in an anchored VWAP off that off the earnings move. So I'll be very interested to see how the anchored VWAP off the earnings move plays out. But this is the anchored VWAP from the news catalyst, so pretty important to me to see how the stock holds this news catalyst anchored VWAP going into tomorrow, also in case we do get an opportunity to get a dip buy right around this 434.50 area, right where my average price is on my long-term account. Sadly, it's not a long-term right now, it's a scalp. LMT. Based on LMT, you could find some trades on RTX also, and I think NTG, is that the one? North Group, NG, North Group, Northman Group, NTG. I forget what that ticker is for those guys. Okay, J&J. J&J has earnings tomorrow pre-market also. Today, Pfizer, Moderna both moved around quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I had both of them on my watch list. No, don't see that. No, don't see that. Ah. Okay. What did I say? People to contact for? Okay, good. Don't look at my ideas, guys. Okay. J&J though. J&J gives you a decent amount of volatility and volume, especially on earnings days itself. I'm trying to show you some proof over here on earnings day over there, a little bit of volume. I think this was because the stock was talking about the Kenvue split or whatnot. So this was probably because of that, and getting added to the S&P, not getting added to the S&P, but a big drop off in volume. The moving average now consolidating right around that 6 million or so. But tomorrow with earnings coming out, I think we could see a nice little relative volume spike. Usually it makes sense. Stocks gives a little bit more relative volume off of earnings, and we could see a little bit more volatility off that trade too. So I'll be interested to see how this one sets up. Right now, if we can just turn off some of our moving averages. Actually, I want these two. Yeah, turn off some of our moving average ribbons, which I only look at for day trading, and really look at the stock, try to see on a cleaner way. We are seeing the support coming in at the higher end of these ranges now, right? We're seeing support come in at the higher end of these ranges for the stock, and trying to maybe push right back into the 50 period, 100 period EMA on the daily area, which is around 161, 162.30 or so. Off the earnings move, I won't be surprised if we do pop right into these EMAs, the 50 period EMA or the 100 period EMA on the daily chart, and on the negative catalyst, you know, somewhere right back down to 150 or so would also be something to keep an eye out for. And if 150 does break to the downside, that could be a beautiful short on this position, possibly, as we go to test a little bit more to the downside. Looks like there's some level over here where we're actually consolidating right now. Makes sense why the stock is using that as an inflection price. We got some support and some resistances both to the areas on right around where the stock is trading at the moment. So waiting for the earnings report to really figure out what it wants to do, and I would not be ignoring this one tomorrow. So make sure you're charting this one, putting some levels on it. I'll be looking for that 150 area to the downside. If there's any support on a positive earnings / flat earnings, and the stock goes down over here and shows you support, you want to possibly get long over there. And on the negative earnings, if the stock pushes down over here and you see more weakness coming in and there's more downside left in it, then you possibly want to go short and risk not too much back into 150, 151 or so. So J&J, very, very important for me to see if there's trade setting up. But not only do we have these two, we also have more banks coming up. Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, another two stocks, and these are both, I believe, in pre-market also, along with a bunch of other banks that came out last week on Friday, which is JPMC and Wells Fargo, and Charles Schwab, which came out today. So overall, the banking sector will be kind of in play going into the end of this week. Maybe not as much though, because we do have big tech coming up over here very, very soon. Tesla, Netflix, both coming out Wednesday, and more big tech next week. So these two kind of will overpower the earnings calendar, in my opinion. And Tesla and Netflix sometimes dictate what happens for the rest of the earnings calendar. Meaning, if Tesla and Netflix miss, there's a good chance that the rest of the stocks miss too. Not that it happens 100%, but it's sometimes they give you a good little indication as to where the market goes. Not a trading signal though. Trust me, this is not a trading signal. I'm not saying just because these fall, you have to stock short, short every other move that comes out. Don't do anything stupid like that. But we'll keep an eye out for any of these banking stocks. Quick little glance, Goldman Sachs still at that $300 area, holding right now at the lower end of some trend line that we have previously drawn out. The stock recently getting below that trend line and now holding right under that trend line. So on a positive earnings report, I won't be surprised on a move right back up to 320 and maybe bouncing back above 320, showing some support at 320. And on negative earnings report, I'm looking for the stock to go right back below 300, show us some weakness below 300 and start trading to the downside over here. But with higher interest rates, so far we've seen every single bank stock report positively, and I'm looking for the same thing to come out on Goldman Sachs and also Bank of America. So Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, probably looking to join the party with the rest of the banks, which is Charles Schwab, Wells Fargo, Citibank, and sadly, however, JP Morgan, I was watching it all day today, did not manage to find a trade on it. JP Morgan was actually selling off all day. I'm only down 0.1%. Okay, that's weird, but yeah, it was selling off quite a bit all day, right off that anchored VWAP that we have from Thursday, I believe, wherever that anchored VWAP comes from. Yeah, from Thursday's anchored VWAP, which is, I guess, the day before the earnings. The day before the earnings. This is the earnings day anchored VWAP over here. The stock just showing you continuous rejection. On the earnings day itself, it showed you some buying first on the Thursday's anchored VWAP, but then it got right under it, and now we're continuing that trend. So for any reason we pop into the Thursday's anchored VWAP or even the earnings anchored VWAP, possible shorts into this 150 on JP Morgan. Looks like there's some sort of an absolute seller pushing the stock down, taking profits off of that positive earnings report on JP Morgan, and kind of bullying the market at the moment, or not market, but bullying the stock in general. So watch out for that seller. Until that seller walks out, you don't want to be fighting that trend and trying to dip by longs over here. UAL and IBKR, Interactive Brokers. Recently, I believe a stock, airlines, yeah, Delta Airlines announced earnings. I'm not sure if American Airlines announced earnings previously to that. I think for some reason, yeah, it did not. It was CCL. It was CCL. American Airlines did not. American Airlines coming up very soon, 19th of October. But UAL coming up tomorrow. DAL came out recently, and on positive earnings report, DAL actually pushed to the downside. Since we're talking about it, let's just show you the chart. DAL actually pushed to the downside on positive earnings report and trying to hold off right now at that $34 area, which was the next day after the earnings day low. So looking for possible moves right back in 35 and then short that possible 35 area. The blue anchored VWAP, which is the earnings anchored VWAP, which is around 35.30. I'm expecting that anchored VWAP to get dragged down to $35 and the stock to possibly show us rejection right around $35 when it does pop back into that level tomorrow or any other day when it pops into it. We got pretty damn close to popping into 35 today on Delta for us to did I keep saying Dallas? On Delta for us to possibly short it, but no bueno on that move because it started rejecting right at 34.75. So that was the end of that trade over there for Delta. But if it does show us some movement to 35, I'm looking to smack that short anytime soon. But tomorrow after hours, so the stock will probably be more important for us tomorrow when we do the stream. So right now I'm just going to quickly mention it to you, UAL and IBKR, for those of you interested. Earnings after hours. I don't really find any stock too interesting in the after hours scanners that I have going on. So I kind of just didn't really put anything up there. So we can move away from that unless you guys see any really important stock that moved around quite drastically off of big volume and actually had news around it. Then make sure you put it in the chat. I will gladly take a look at it. But off of my scans, I don't really find any stock moving with a lot of volume and making a big pump. I mean, we have some penny stocks, but apparently this penny stock with 9 million shares after hours moving up 74% is a drastic percentage, only popped up to 23 cents. So I'm not interested at that point. Only 23 cents with a 74% pop. That's crazy. So ignoring some of these penny stocks over here because none of them actually got to $1 and no real volume. 225k, 82% up to the north side though. I'm thinking this one's an earnings play. Not an earnings play. SPRC, what's that? Yeah, not an earnings play. What happened with this one? Regains compliance with NASDAQ listing rule. So that's a little bit of a positive catalyst, brings in some volume, moved up to the north side from $2, $3 up to $5. it's worth it to just put that anchored VWAP down there. If there is volume in the stock tomorrow, we could possibly look for some trade off of it and see what happens right around this anchored VWAP over here off of this news catalyst. So until then, nothing really to talk about it. We can kind of move away from this one and go to our big lineup for the day. If Momo is watching, which she's probably not, because she doesn't like us. She used to message us every single day when we used to work for Trader TV Live, but now she doesn't anymore. No, I'm joking. She comes in, hangs out when she can. I'm just giving her a hard time in case she does watch it on the offline over here. But Momo loves Pfizer, wants to always take a look at Pfizer over here. Pfizer today actually popping up on some sort of a negative catalyst. I thought it was negative, or positive catalyst. I forget what it was. Whatever catalyst it is, don't care. Don't want to have a bias around it. What I want to focus on is where the buyers, where the sellers, and what's actually happening on the position. So today we got that insane move up. See, yeah, I thought the catalyst was negative. After hours yesterday, when the news actually hit the news wires, it dropped to the downside. Later on, it popped up. I thought the news was negative, but if we were to quickly plot in right over there on that candle, you would see how that anchored VWAP came into play, right? So whoever really took control of the stock over here off this shake and bake to the downside and started buying up the position, they really held control of the stock later on throughout the day, and you can see that happening right over here. So I'll be interested to see if tomorrow we see more buying coming in off of this anchored VWAP, or some selling coming in off of this anchored VWAP, and if we do see some buying coming in, possible breakout of this 34 to the north side, any buying above today's VWAP or even this anchored VWAP over here could give us some possible trades with tight risk to reward for us to get into a news catalyst over here based. But I don't really like trading Pfizer too much, you guys know that. But look at that level right there, that 34 level. Really clean level for us to be possibly interested in if it does set up for us to see buyers show up. We see 34.11 getting into some sort of a breakout. We're holding this 33 area clean and the stock is just launching up to 34. Then at that point we can think about seeing for that 34 breakout. But if 34 doesn't really show any buyers, then you're really looking for that rejection of 34 for that short. Recent area on daily. DAILY. Why does that sound like that's the wrong spelling for daily? DAILY. Yeah, daily. Why does that sound wrong? That sounds wrong. I don't know why. Okay, anyways, Moderna pumped to the downside. No catalyst of its own, if I remember accurately. But if we were to put in the anchored VWAP over here for Moderna, you'd see how this one kind of behaves a little bit more differently compared to Pfizer. So Pfizer was the one with the actual catalyst behind it. If I remember accurately, Moderna was just a sympathy trade from that move, and hence Moderna traded its own separate way, traded to the downside mostly, and looking to see if it has continuation off that catalyst over here. Not sure if I want to put that anchored VWAP there because the stock never really had its own catalyst to play off of. This is just a sympathy trade, so I'm not worried about looking for where's the buyer off that move. There's no real trade off that anchored VWAP because there is nothing happening off that catalyst. The stock has had its own bearish catalyst so far, and it's just using that bearish catalyst to keep bleeding continuously every single day. So just waiting for the stock to show us more weakness for us to possibly be involved in. Right now, new 52-week low coming into play as we get below that 95 area. So as we get below 95, new 52-week low, and he pops into 95, possibly looking for that short. And actually, yesterday's anchored VWAP is actually right around 95. So yeah, and he pops into 95, possibly looking for that short on MRNA. So let's see what happens on that bad boy. Okay, where's my watch list? MRNA 95. Possible shorts. Snapchat had a pretty monster rally to the north side today. Did not know about it until I saw it pop up on my after my scanners for the show over here that I'm trying to host for you guys. But you know, now that we actually have it up, we can kind of start. Why did I just put it off to 9:30? That's just the today's view. Prad, how stupid are you? So yeah, today's catalyst, obviously. So whatever that catalyst was coming in, big volume spikes on the daily chart too for Snapchat. Let's go look at on the look at that monster spike up and breaking out off this candle and moving back into one of these ranges that we were previously interested in. I mean, that's a pretty big range, Prad. What are you, stupid? Yes, I am. Move that range, delete that. And let's get interested in, let's see in the more newer areas. That's a recent low, that's a recent high. That's a good low to possibly look for. A box over here. We got a little bit of a range from 8, whatever. I can just draw a box. What is that from? Let me put the line, please. Okay, from 886 to 820, let's say $8 to 850. There's a little bit of a range over there, possible support to be looked for, and the stock is now getting ready to move right back above the 50 period and the 100 period EMA, possibly move up to 10.50. Not sure what the catalyst is. All we want to see is where's the big money and are they buying, and if they're selling, then we don't want to be getting trapped on the move up over here. Today's candle might be a little bit significant tomorrow. We might see today's candle rejected right off the bat tomorrow and we push down, and then later on maybe rally if this buyer is really important. But if this buyer is not important, if this catalyst not important, then we might just see the stock, you know, have an inside day, really reject today's high and push right back to the downside and kind of and below 950 is what my guess would be if the stock has to release any sort of weakness around it. But all we can do is just wait for it and prepare for it. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, we'll see if pre-market has some good action in Snapchat. If it has some good action in the stock, then we can kind of get ready for it. But right now I'll just leave it on my watch list. Not too interested in looking for a trade, but if the volume is there, as you guys can see today, 51 million shares compared to the average 16 million volume or whatever. And as we are actually getting closer and closer to earnings over here, 24th of October apparently, so more reason to get into a possible Snapchat trade. Snapchat with the earnings coming up. Yes sir, Snapchat earnings coming up very soon indeed. Sell twice your position to get short. True. Flip it. Flip it. Snapchat Palantir. Palantir, I haven't looked at you in a bit. What's going on? I know you got above 17, but you're still rejecting this 18-ish area right around, yeah, 18. Yeah, look at that rejection of 18, pretty strong. Today looks like we had a decent enough of a buying area, ended flat on the day. Okay, yeah, little candle looks like, you know, lots of support at on the lower end of these ranges over here on Palantir, popping it right back above 17 or so, ending flat on the day. And tomorrow, if the market is green and Palantir has some buying, we could see them move right back up to $18. I won't be surprised by that. Watch out for Palantir to move back up to 18, but there is some clear seller at 18 to 18.50 stuffing the stock to the downside at the moment. On the break of that level, we could really see Palantir go to 20. We could really see Palantir launch up to $20 on the break of that level. So I'll be very interested to see what happens at that 18.20. Sorry, 18.50. AAL, I think we talked about this real quick as we were talking about Delta and UAL. Moves around every single day. It's right around the 52-week area. Their earnings are coming up very soon. I think we'll just keep it on the back burner. We'll keep getting ready for it, but no real trades for it. I wouldn't even sympathy trade the stock off of UAL or DAL, which one had earnings and one's coming up with earnings. We'll just have to wait for AAL's earnings to come up by itself, right? So be patient, wait for AAL's earnings. I think it's 19th of October. Yeah, 19th of October pre-market. And CCL, which already had its earnings, it's basically just bleeding ever since that earnings move. This earnings VWAP over here, the blue one, you can see how on the daily chart, anytime we do pop up into those levels, the stock has just been getting rejected again and again and again. Looks like there's a bigger move down to $11 on a swing time frame on this position at the moment. I don't see any buyers really stepping in on the daily time frame, and I just see constant selling, honestly. So if there is a trade that you might want to be involved in, possibly short on the way down below 12 but to $11 and see if buyers come up to 11. But for now, I'm a day trader until I could join the trend over here, but for me to join the trend, I have to wait for the stock to have a pop up and show me rejection at the earnings VWAP again. So for that, I'll have to wait for the pop to short into 13 or so, or it has to drop down to 11 where I've seen supports previously, resistances show up. Now possible supports could show up for me to possibly look for a longs over there. So it's in a no man's zone for me. But for anyone who is interested in looking for a trade on CCL, you could just join that move to the downside on a possible break of 12. But I would urge you to just stay away because there's better trades on board for us to be involved in. And I think one of them is NIO and XPEV. XPEV, a way better trade than NIO in my opinion. NIO very much stuck in a range at the moment. But if we go to XPEV, you see how XPEV at this $15 area is a pretty key significant level. It happens to be right around the 100 period EMA. It's a previous resistance. We can pull back this chart a little bit back and no, ignore that 17. Yeah, right over here. Previous resistance, a little bit of a bounce. We got a triple bounce, I guess you could say, a little bit coming in. Triple bottom, sorry, coming in right around that $15 area. If this 15 gives, we could easily drop right to the lower end of these ranges at 1350 to even maybe gap closed all the way back down to 1130 into this lower end of these higher end of these ranges. So if that's a big swing time frame concept, off of that swing time frame concept, if we're looking for a day trade tomorrow, if this 15 area really breaks and gives up, we can look for that bigger move to the downside and be involved in it with tight risk near that 15. But if this 15 doesn't want to give, then you can look for that long right around that 15 and give a tight risk to the downside, possibly even today's low. If the stock is showing you buying coming in right around 15, get long right in front of 15, support right around yesterday's low, and you can look for that move right back up to the north side. But the catalyst is, I believe, negative, so I'm most likely only looking for shorts on these positions. WBD, Warner Bros Digital. Oh yeah, Warner Brothers Digital. Yeah, I think. Why did I get confused there? What's chat talking about? NOC equal weight. When you found TPST, it was 17 cents. Yes, but it had a move up to $1 in the after hours. Aha. See? It had a move up to $1 in the after hours, but it was in the pennies. And it had an actual catalyst when I found it. Gotcha, Dan Duval. Holding some RTX myself for the conflict play. Also have some GD in my long-term retirement. I like it. Is GD gold? What's GD? Oh, General Dynamics. Oh, that's another defense stock, right? That's right. I thought you were throwing gang signs like GD, BD. For anyone who knows. If you know, you know. NOC. Oh, is that the Northman Truman Group? Yeah. Dan Duval always comes clutch. There you go. Another defense stock over here. RTX, LMT, Northrop Grumman Corporation. Northrop Grumman Corporation. I always mess up their name. I call them Norman Grumman. Norman Grumman. Another defense stock over there. An hour 43 minutes is wrong. An hour and 43 minutes is wrong on what? Snap of the earnings coming up 24th, 25th. Bitcoin was up this morning on a rumor that the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF was approved. Yeah, I saw something about that on Instagram. I guess Cody Turner is talking about that too. Yeah, Insta post about the Bitcoin ETF. I wish I had bought some Bitcoin already. Did Bitcoin rally? Let's see. How much did Bitcoin go up to? That's not bad. I'll take it. I like it. Let's go. Yay! Bitcoin rallying to the north side. I like it. Okay. WBD only has 47.27 billion in debt. Only? Not a lot. What's their market cap? They're 2x their market cap in debt. They're 50 billion in debt. Their market cap's 25 billion. That doesn't sound too good to me. And isn't that writer's strike still going on? Are they coming to an end on that? That's another big question over there. But hey, if you like the stock, you like the stock. If you like the long, you like the long. The stock had a pretty good day in it. What the hell is this? The stock had a pretty decent day for it on the long side, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the strike's still going on from the looks of it, so I'm not really too bullish on these positions until that strike has some sort of a resolution. But right now, at a quick glance, higher low, same high. If we start seeing a higher high, there could be a nice little move up to the north side. If you got long right around here at $10 or so, there could be a nice move up to 12. Maybe a break of this 11 could give us a nice move up to 11.50 or a move up to 12 too. So there could be a trade over here tomorrow for us to be involved in. Possible rejection of 11 short to the downside. Possible break of 11 and holding 11 for a move up to 11.50 and 12. There's something over here to maybe keep an eye out for. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I like it. LULU. I mean, do I even have to say anything? The stock was monstrous today. Here's the earnings anchored VWAP. I mean, the stock never really, not earnings, sorry, the news catalyst anchored VWAP. The stock never really comes to the downside to test that price ever. Insane amount of buying, just constantly goes higher and higher and higher. And we've seen this happen time and time again. Anytime a stock gets announced that it's getting added to the S&P 500 index. One of the recent stocks that did this, PACW. Another recent stock, Airbnb, Tesla. I mean, the list just keeps on going. Any stock that's a big stock that gets announced that it's getting added to the S&P 500 index usually does something like this. This news, however, came pretty late. PACW, Airbnb, Tesla, they were announced like months before. This was announced 2 days before, basically. So hence I think this move was way more pronounced and way more important for day traders and people to keep an eye out for if you're a day trader or even a swing trader, because this is happening very quickly. This trade time span is happening very quickly. Based on that, a lot of bulls, a lot of buyers, a lot of buying pressure just coming in and just launching the stock to the upside. Based on that, I'm looking for more longs tomorrow as the stock will, possibly have another rally going into the close and going into Wednesday, as the stock on Wednesday will be in the S&P 500 index. So this is the catalyst that's the anchored VWAP off the catalyst, and I'll be looking to see how this level near 413 right now shows maybe some buying. Also happens right around this 411 you see on the 1 minute chart. Maybe we can actually go to the 5 minute chart. It looks a little bit better over here, right around that 411 or even that 413. Notice how these two dips right around where that VWAP is closing at today. So right around those two dips at 413 or even this 411 to 411 area will be the two areas I'll possibly look for longs. Might have to take one entry here, and might stop right under 411 for this trade if I'm thinking accurately, and then have that bigger move up tomorrow. All things really depend on pre-market, right? We'll have to see what happens in pre-market. The stock could easily open higher than 420 tomorrow, and then just keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, right? So anything is possible. We just have to prep best we can for it, and then trade and manage our trades the best we can for it tomorrow. Hopefully we don't fumble the bag on this one tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Let's smash the opportunities when they show up. Talking about smashing opportunities, Man U was a pretty decent opportunity today for the short side off the open, but eventually the main trade was to the long side. The stock absolutely holds that $18 price point, and this was the key 18 area. If you look at it previously, that 18 price was very, very important. We do dip right around to 1750 or so. Let me just throw a quick little line there. Happens to be today's low, surprisingly enough. If I had that line previously mapped out, maybe I wouldn't have maybe I wouldn't have fought the damn shorts as much. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, when in doubt, zoom out. Anyways, looks like there's some sort of a level here at the moment. The grinding of $18 going into the close today shows me that there's a possible trade-off of 18 going into tomorrow, and this catalyst I thought was positive, might be negative, whatever it is. The stock will be on SSR tomorrow, day 2, and if more weakness shows up, then obviously it'll be a little bit harder to really get that short. But if buying does show up at 18, there's an easy long off of that 18. But if selling shows up at 18, you'll have to fight for your price and really look to get some shorts, as the stock might really go test that lower day from today, and might even go much lower than lower day from today, all the way down to $15-16 or so. So watch out for that move on Man U. I will keep this one on my watch list to see if there's any buying off 18 really, based off of the amount of action we're seeing right around that price for this stock. Delta Airlines, I mean, I think the play on the stock is kind of done. There will be more plays eventually on the stock, but I might just have to leave this one in the second half of my watch list. I think that 35 level, don't get me wrong, is still pretty important. If we do get pops into that 35 tomorrow, possible shorts into 35 tomorrow, so I'll be watching that. But the stock is kind of on the back burner. There will be better stocks off the open, probably Lockheed Martin, probably Lululemon. Sadly, both of them are very expensive stocks, but maybe the bank stocks tomorrow, day 2, day 3 plays on these bank stocks will be something to take a look at. But the Delta Airlines, I don't think will be too important, and the relative volume is obviously, as you guys can see right here, getting right back under the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average volume today was volume today was right under the 20-day moving average. The stock's already losing steam, losing relative volume, and getting boring for day trading. So just might have to move away from it, but we did find some good longs on that trade today. Delta. JD. Whew. JD was something that we really missed out today, man. And let me talk about this trading setup for you. I mean, this comes directly from the anchored VWAP book from Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends on Twitter. So if you go follow Twitter, Alpha Trends, Brian Shannon, this setup is like a playbook setup from his book. It was picture perfect. Yesterday's VWAP right here, the orange one. Today's VWAP, the red one. Right? The stock, let me just go to the regular trading hours. The stock first opens up below the close, right? Below Friday's close. Opens up below Friday's close. Shows you a little bit of a weakness off the open, right around VWAP. And you know, not really able to push too far to the high side and starts going down. Later on, you see some buying coming in, and then it reclaims today's VWAP. Once it reclaims today's VWAP, then you possibly are now looking for, a long. But you're not entering the long just yet. You're looking for the long right over here as we reclaim yesterday's VWAP and show some buying. You can possibly look for the longs here or here with the stop right down over here. If you're looking for the longs here, that is a possible stop right down over here near 26.87. You're possibly long at 27 up to 27.05. Your risk is so tight and your reward is right back up to the north side as it keeps on launching. And notice how the Thursday's anchored VWAP comes so much in play. And this is, I mean, I'm reading that book once again from Brian Shannon, the anchored VWAP book. And this is picture perfect from that playbook. He has the playbook on the book itself. And I was just shocked of missing out this trade. I don't think there will be a trade on this tomorrow as good as this one, sadly. But if there is any trades that that do show up, I might want to be taking a look at it. These Chinese sectors are once again still in play. JD, Baba, Pinduoduo. I mean, all three of them had that picture perfect setup. It's just Baba had a little bit more move from VWAP, from today's VWAP to yesterday's VWAP, whereas JD didn't really have that much room. Whereas JD didn't really have that much room, so this stock really looked much better for the long side than Baba did. Eventually, both of them did give you that move. Baba still gave you a good move to the north side with tight risk and so on. Amazing trades over there being offered. Thanks to our friend Brian Shannon from that playbook, man. I just wish I took those trades. Sadly, I wasn't really looking at them at that moment. Need to be able to find those setups and really trade those setups more. Palantir, I think we already talked about Palantir, so we can get rid of that one. Carvana moving back into that price point that we previously liked to be interested in, that 36.40. We're wow, look at that. Thursday's anchored VWAP, yesterday's anchored VWAP, and today's VWAP all coming in right around that $34 area. Possible big buying coming in off of this $34 price. Now that's the average price for 3 days, so possible buying, and we might just punch right back through 36.40 and then maybe even rejects 36.40. I'm looking for that 36.40 area to come into play in this 34 area, so let's just put that levels down over here for ourselves. And 34, Jesus Christ, Prad, 34. Affirm, not something that we really do trade, but someone in chat said they like Affirm. Let's go take a look at it on the daily chart. Kind of looks like Warner Brother Digitals, I guess, right? It's got a higher low, not really a higher high, but it is right around yesterday's high. Maybe we break out of yesterday's high and go right back into this $20 area, but at the moment I'm not too interested. I mean, that resistance at 1950 looks pretty important to me. We held that 1950 area a little bit, but then we now trade under it, and once again we're trading under it, so I'm not too interested for a move up to 20 on Affirm because of that 1950 area. I want to see 1950 break out, hold above 1950, show some buying above 1950 for a bigger move up. Besides that, I can't really do too much. Yeah, I can't edit anchor, the angered VWAP, just kidding. It was so much beat down. I looked at it yesterday, got long pre-market. I like Para, but I'm down on it, but it's a long hold. Don't know how I found that one, but I saw it on shift on structure, and I wanted to maybe buy the book. Was it worth it? I was messing around with anchored VWAP. I 100% think if you're messing around with anchored VWAP, you want to check out that book for sure. There's amazing playbooks in there. There's amazing setups being mentioned for free. So yeah, I would 100% suggest you to check out that book. Rivian, that $20 area coming right back into play, man. There's so much support showing up right before 1950 or even $19 at the moment on Rivian. So move up to 20 and a breakout of 20 possible. Longs off of that area at the moment. I am interested to see how the stock plays out. That news catalyst move to the downside, I guess, should be here on this day. No, I'm not doing that. So I think because I have it anchored to an after hour move, actually, which is the correct anchor. So the news anchor move, which was that they are diluting the position, longer time frame, 2030 or something, 2050 maybe, I can't remember accurately. But now we're seeing buying coming in right around, or holding coming in right around that anchored VWAP. That anchored VWAP off that news catalyst going flat, showing you a lot of indecision. So this is where momentum can really change from to the downside to the upside, or upside to the downside. So anything can really happen. Let the stock just do its thing, and then we just wait for it to the breakout to the upside to the 20, or the breakout below 90 or 1850 to the downside for a bigger move lower. So just wait patiently. Knee, are you back to 54, knee? You're holding right around 54. I like it. Yeah, just got to be more patient on knee. Also, I think this trade right now is a little bit done, a little bit muted. We rode it to the downside. We rode it to the upside. We missed the breakout move on here that day. I almost gave you $1 on that breakout, but no harm done. Knee is at the moment just on the back burner. If we see any moves or any volume coming into that position, we'll take a look at it. It will be on the watch list. Dollar General, showing still some buying coming in off that catalyst of the CEO and upgraded forecast. So Dollar General still showing buying coming in, and then trying to continue its pursuit to the north side. So look for some longs over here, as we might just get into this 116, 118 area to the north side. Looks like the stock, you know, wants to keep rallying. There's clear buying showing up at the moment, and it just wants to keep rallying. So there's no volume though. That's my sad part. I mean, look at the volume over there dropping off big time. If we can keep bringing in volume, maybe there is some actual rally over here for us to be involved in. I think this rally is just a little bit muted at the moment. I don't think we see a big move up to 120, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong on Dollar General. TPST, what a move today on TPST, man. This stock is getting right back into action again, popping right back into $7, and slightly above $7 was the move. But the fact that we closed so close to 7, I think there's a bigger move in it tomorrow too. So don't be ignoring it. Look at the volume spike on the stock today, 130 million shares. The 20-day moving average is at 21 million shares. So a lot of volume on this stock, right back into play, and a lot of losers and a lot of winners. And I say that because sadly, my boy Matt has, I don't know why I said my boy, is not my boy. I've never met him, never really known him, never talked to him. Boy, what are you doing? $14,000 down, $15,000 down on TPST, down 17,000 on MNTS, and another 9,000 down on the long on MNTS. So getting absolutely beat up over here across the board. $41,000 down on the day for your boy Madaz. Big time hurdy today for him. And then he goes out there on Twitter and he complains and he cries about how he's getting kicked when he's down. Look, dude, this is the public spaces. You picked this fight. This is the life you chose. Can't live it? The door is right there. And I don't mean that in a negative way, Madass. If you, for any chance, get to see these clips, someone clips it and sends it to you. I don't mean this in a negative way. People are only kicking you down, Madass, is because you go out there, pick fights with people. Anytime you post a post on Twitter and a troll comes in and says something, you pick fights with them. You cultivated this negative fan base, and they love to see you fail. Sadly, they love to see you fail. You have some good people too who love to see you win, and people who love to see you fail. You cultivated that. Stop, indulging with the idiots. Stop indulging with the trolls. Just worry about yourself, dude, and fix your trading, right? If you can't adapt, you die. I'm nobody to tell you to fix your trading, but you gotta adapt, because I can see that you're not adapting. You're complaining about the stock not having, the market not being good, market not being blah 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 blah. Well, I'm seeing people make money every single day. Sounds like you're just stuck to your old ways and you don't want to adapt and you don't want to change. Sounds like a you problem, Madass. Sounds like a you problem, brother. But big hit on his trading portfolio today. Poor guy absolutely got beat up. And if he doesn't fix his game tomorrow, I think there's more hurt coming for him tomorrow on TPST. I pray for his portfolio right now, honestly, because he's in a little bit of a tilt. And I know what tilt feels like, trust me. I know that feeling way too well. Way too well. Born by it. Raised by it. Molded by it. It was blinding. Anyone who knows that reference? Oh, you think darkness is your ally? Okay. I'm not an actor. I'll stop. Zom, I need to stop trading XOM. That's all it is. Just stop trading XOM. Just gonna move it from the watch list. We got the big tech. I'm just gonna look at Tesla real quick because one of our viewers asked, where do I think Tesla goes tomorrow? Honestly, I don't have the crystal ball. I don't know where any stock is going tomorrow. And anytime I do think or act like I do know, it's non-financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just talking about where areas I would be involved in and where I would be possibly looking to make a trade on these stocks. For Tesla, I mean, based on this trend, looks like to the downside at the moment, right? We are probably continuing this trend right back to the downside to go find support right around 250, 240 on Tesla. At the moment, though, looks like 250 today held. Yeah, 248, 250 today basically holding. And if that 250 area continues to hold on Tesla, we have a possible move right back into this 265, 270 north side. So watch out for that 250 area holding. And if 250 doesn't hold, a nice little move right back to the south side over a swing term scale to find more buyers in the supply demand zones. Well, this should be demand in this demand zone around this 237 to 240 area to the downside on Tesla. But we can quickly take a look at the overall market in general to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen tomorrow. And just by looking at the market, it looks like I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. Inside day today for the QQQ, very, very boring inside day. The SPY actually did break out successfully a little bit, but stuck right under that solid level of 437.55. So if the SPY can get above 437.55 and actually hold above 437.55, that opens up room for some longs in the market. So you want to watch for the market's ability to trade above 437.55, really stay above that price point and hold there, at which point it shows you that there's strength in the market, strength in the overall stock market for us to be thinking about a bigger move long on the QQQs and everywhere else too. Especially for the QQQs, however, you want to see this 371.50, 372 area really getting above it and holding above it. A pretty solid resistance. Maybe we'll just move this line over here. Pretty solid resistance right around that 371.30 at the moment on QQQ. If we can even punch above it, hold above it, same idea like the S&P 500. Let me just quickly put down these levels for myself. 371.30 to 371.50. If we can get above this area and then really hold above 373, 374, 373.75/374, if we can first hold above this price range and then move to this price range and hold above this price range, that opens up a room for a lot of longs. But this just shows you that there's so much possible weightage on the high side on the QQQs at the moment that we could just have another rejection off these highs tomorrow and pull right back to the downside, have an inside day. The market just might be muting itself a little bit as we are getting ready for the big techs to come out, Tesla to come out, Netflix to come out on Wednesday. That's very much a possibility, right? We could just have another inside day tomorrow, wait for that Wednesday after hour numbers for the market to really decide if we want to punch upper or punch lower. Upper, lower, I don't know. Oh, anyways, so S&P 500, the level right there that we have mapped out is 437.50. If we can pull up to 437.50, show resistance and not really have longs above it, you can just possibly short SPYs and have fun for the rest of the day as it possibly goes all the way lower to 431 or so, or maybe just an inside day, a really muted day tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if the lower day tomorrow is right around yet today's lower day. Be very careful. So SPY looking like it wants to set up once again for an inside day move, and based on that, that's where all of these stocks will kind of play in, right? I'm not expecting too much moves on any of these tech baskets, and most of the trades that we want to be mostly involved in, I think, will be the bank stocks, J&J, LMT, and a couple of the movers that moved around today, Pfizer, Moderna, what else moved around today? Pfizer, Moderna, Snapchat could be something. Warner Brother Digital could be something. So we'll possibly be looking for the usual suspects, right? Shout out to a legendary movie over there, Usual Suspects. The banking sector very much in play at the moment with earnings sector for banking going on. And then we got a bunch of other stocks over there like LULU, Manu, possibly even the Chinese sector possibly giving us some trades. As for tomorrow's economic calendar, 8:30, we got core retail sales month over month and year over year, I believe. Where's year over year? No year over year? Okay. Retail sales, however, month over month and year over year coming in at 8:30. And then core retail. Wait, what am I talking about? Retail and core retail numbers all coming out at 8:30. 3-star event. We got Fed member Williams talking at 8 o'clock. So pre-market could move the market a little bit. Industrial production numbers coming out at 9:15, slightly before open. Bowman talking right before open. Why are you doing that? A little bit more industrial numbers and retail auto numbers coming out at 10 o'clock, possibly something for Ford and GM type of trades. And then Barkin talking at 10:45, but I think Barkin's not a voting member, so low volatility expected. Anytime you see a 2 or 3 star event, ladies and gentlemen, you basically want to be careful and watching the market to see what happens. These numbers could really make or break your trade sometimes. And last Friday, we've seen something happen very similar. If you go to last Friday on the, let's say the QQQ or the SPYs at the moment. Last Friday, 10 o'clock. That's not 10 o'clock. That's today. So here we go. Last Friday, 10 o'clock right there, when the Michigan sentiment numbers hit, the market was basically doing nothing. It was, trading sideways. And once the Michigan sentiment number hit, it dictated the move for the rest of the day, right? A seller came in, dictated the move for the rest of the day on the market, and pushed the market to the downside. So you want to be careful. Not saying that these numbers are big, important like that Michigan number, but there's a good chance that these 3-star numbers could really dictate what happens to the market tomorrow. Retail sales, you could see retail stocks such as Macy's, Home Depot maybe. A lot of the retail stocks over there really moving around based on these numbers. So watch out for those stocks in specific for a catalyst-based trade off of these retail numbers if you're interested. IPO calendar at the moment, I believe, is back to being dead. Nothing really too important. 86 million. Yeah, nothing too important. It's a holding company. No big IPOs coming out. So boring, boring, boring. And as for the CPI or the Fed FOMC day, that's on the 1st of November, so we still got some time for it before we start discussing. At the moment, they're expecting a 94.8% probability of the rate, interest rates to get still paused for a longer time period. So that's what the expectations coming in for the FOMC watch tool at the moment for the interest rates up down prediction. Let's see quickly at the chat to see if the chat wants to talk about something. What would Valeria do on Tesla? Yeah, anytime you're trading Tesla, just ask yourself what would Valeria do, and it'll probably give you all the answers you're looking for. Do any of you screens show ZBRA and why earnings fall in half next year? How earnings fall in half next year? Is that what they're saying themselves? I mean, if is that what they're saying, then you kind of want to maybe trade that. But I can Google over here real quick. ZBRAC. Kramer calls it a very, very good company at 8:59 a.m. on October 4th. And since October 4th, the stock has plummeted 10 full percent. Zebra Tech has to balance innovation against near-term challenges. KeyBank says that. Demonstrates generative AI on devices powered by Qualcomm for Zebra. All I see is good news, honestly. But KeyBank over here doesn't really show too much good catalyst. But since, Jimmy Kramer, we like the stock. Since he mentioned that he likes the stock has fallen 10 full percent. But here's why he recommends to stay away for now. He says very, very good company, but here's why he recommends to stay away from the stock. Let's show you guys the Benzinga screen. Benzinga screen. Make sure you go check out my sponsor down below, Benzinga. All my sponsors down below. Trade Ideas, TraderSync, Benzinga. Why am I forgetting Benzinga while I'm talking about Benzinga? So go check out all my sponsors down below. Use code PRAD15 for TraderSync and Trade Ideas to make sure that you get 15% off at checkout. There was a good quote that I saw today that came out from TraderSync itself. Well, it's not from TraderSync, but the TraderSync Twitter posted a good tweet today. So if we can quickly go to their tweet real quick. TraderSync, come on, give me that tweet. right over here. Trading without a diary is like shaving without a mirror, right? That's gonna hurt, shaving without a mirror, unless you're an absolute ridiculous pro. Maybe you're a barber and you can do that without looking twice, you know, it makes sense. But over here, trading without a diary is like shaving without a mirror. So you want to make sure that you're using a journal, using something to help you track your progress, track your setups, really show you where you're losing money, where you're making money. That way you can maximize your opportunities the next time you see them, and the bad opportunities, you recognize them quicker, and you kind of maybe don't trade them at all. Right? Don't trade them at all. So you guys didn't get to take a look at the screen. Oh, this was the screen right here, okay? Trading without a diary is like shaving without a mirror. Now, showing you the Benzinga screen, why Kramer said to stay away from it. He said, I like oil, gases, blah, 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 blah. Where did you say about Zebra? But people are not paying 23 times earnings for this kind of company anymore. They're just not, so we're going to have to stay away from it. So I guess their PE for ZBRA is, oops, wrong button, is 23. Yeah, right around 18, 23 or so. And yeah, paying 23 times earnings is just not acceptable for Kramer at the moment, and the stock is on a pretty little decline. So nice little decline on ZBRA. No other catalyst that I see from myself, and way too little of a volume for a day trader. So not gonna be too interested for a day trade. But you know, you wanted me to pull it up, I pulled it up for you. That's all I can do. Hopefully I helped you out, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the show. I want to show you quick little haircut. This barber ruined my haircut, dude. I'm never going to this barber again. Barber ruined my hair. My hair looks ugly. My hair looks absolutely ugly. So now it's going to be hat season. It's cold anyways. You know what? It's cold anyways. It's hat season. It's going to be wearing hats every single day. And if anyone asks, where's that blonde hair? Oh, it's still here. You can see a little bit of shade. But yeah, thank you for my barber. A brand new barber. Never had this barber before. For absolutely ruining. For absolutely killing my hairstyle. For absolutely killing my hair. I might just buzz cut it at this point and get rid of all the blonde and just let the black grow out itself again. Right? Might just have to. Because she ruined my hair. I'm very upset of this hairstyle. This haircut, this. Hopefully you're not upset, however, at today's stream, at today's levels, and everything that we pointed out today. If we can improve in any way for you next time, that just tomorrow, please let me know. Slide into my DMs. Better yet, put it in the comments if you're an offline viewer. If you didn't watch the live stream and you're an offline viewer, put it in the comments on what you want me to improve on what you want me to add to the stream, remove from the stream. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Do all those fun things that YouTube, wants you to do in order to help your boy TraderPrad out. And for those of you who do tune in during the live stream, you mean the world to me. You guys help me with all the live count algorithms, so that means a lot too. And thank you for taking that hour and a half of your night to hear a random boy just talk about stocks and draw some lines on charts and so on. So I appreciate all the love and support you guys show. Until next time, tomorrow 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Get some sleep, have some great trade opportunities, and make some money. Make some goddamn moolah, baby. Make some money. Good night, team. Peace out.